Breaking news here on CNN Philippines as investigators continue to dig deeper into the possibility that suicide bombers were behind the Jolo Cathedral blasts. The military figures in an intense firefight with Abu Sayyaf members in Patikul, Sulu. Let's bring in our senior correspondent David Santos joining us from Jolo. David, what can you tell us?
Well, tonight, relentless pursuit operations continue against the Abu Sayyaf group in the hinterlands of Patikul town, northeast of the capital, Jolo. At least, as we've been reporting, 5 army soldiers are dead, while 5 others are wounded and are now being treated in a military hospital just behind me here in Jolo. Now, troops from the Army's 5th Scout Ranger Battalion clashed with the group under Abu Sayyaf leader Hatib Sawadjaan, a known notorious terror leader here in Sulu. The encounter happened before lunch today in Barangay Kabuntakas in Patikul. Now, this area is a known lair of the terror group for years now. The firefight lasted accordingly for more than an hour. The Joint Task Force Sulu spokesperson, Lieutenant Colonel Gerald Montfort, says while the army troops initiated the attack on the Abu Sayyaf lair, the bandits, numbering to about 100 to 150, supposedly were on high ground, giving the bandits the advantage to shoot on the attacking soldiers. Here is how Lieutenant Colonel Montfort described the fierce encounter.
Lahat ng ating casualties is nanggaling doon sa nag-assault. So despite na ganun ang sitwasyon, pinilit pa rin ng ating mga tropa na makuha yung high ground upang makalaban ng parehas. Walang casualties tayo sa taas, malapitan ang laban, walang casualties sa taas, ang lahat ng casualties ay yung paakyat sila. Yun nga, nasa taas yung kalaban, talagang mahirap akyatin na ikaw tumitingin ka sa dadaanan mo samantalang yung kalaban na kadepensa.
Bad weather apparently prevented the Air Force, the Philippine Air Force, to deploy their air assets and air support and back up the troops on the ground. Both the dead and the wounded soldiers had to be transported to military trucks. The military is saying that there are also casualties on the side of the bandits. Lieutenant Colonel Montfort is saying at least 3 suspected bandits were killed, including a certain Abu Black. Now, 13 other bandits are also being reported wounded, including another notorious bandit leader, Indang Susukan. Now, let us just point out that the military is basing these information from intelligence sources, meaning the information still needs to be validated and to be processed. In military parlance, they call it a body count, or there is no body count, meaning the troops could still be trying to search and recover the remains of these bandits supposedly slain in that encounter. Mai.
David, tell us, who is this Abu Black and what do we know about him?
Well, Lieutenant Colonel, we did ask that question, Lieutenant Colonel Montfort, and he was describing him as supposedly a foreign terrorist that used to operate in central Mindanao. As to how he came here to Sulu, and what is his other background and what significant details about this personality, that is very limited as we speak. But we are as we pointed out, we're still clueless on who this Abu Black actually is. But what I can tell you, Mai, are the 2 other ASG leaders mentioned in the press briefing today. These are Hatib Sawadjaan and Indang Susukan. Sawadjaan is one of 2 major ASG leaders based here in Sulu. The other being Radulan Sahiron, or otherwise known as Commander Putol. Both of them, Radulan Sahiron, Commander Putol, and Hatib Sawadjaan are very known notorious Abu Sayyaf leaders here in Sulu. They've been part in many atrocities here, particularly kidnapped for ransom, and they've been blamed as behind on the many cases of many kidnapping cases that are brought here in Sulu. Most of these victims are taken from other areas in the region as far as Malaysia, and they are being brought here. Now, these leaders, Hatib Sawadjaan and Radulan Sahiron, are being blamed as behind those kidnapping cases. Now, Indang Susukan is a relative of Mujib Susukan, another notorious ASG leader who was killed in an encounter with military troops years ago. As I've been pointing out, these Indang Susukan and Hatib Sawadjaan are very known notorious leaders here. They've been part of many atrocities, not only against Sulu residents, but even having victims as far as Zamboanga City and other parts of the region, and even as far as Malaysia. Mike.
David, what's happening as we speak? Are there troops still pursuing the bandits?
Definitely, the troops have to continue this operation. They need to sustain it because they need, in short, in Tagalog pa, kailangan nila masustain ito dahil sayang yung momentum na achieve nila in this operation this morning, because supposedly malapit na raw nilang makabangga mismo si Hatib Sawadjaan, who is a primary target for this operation. So Hatib Sawadjaan, by the way, as Lieutenant Colonel Montfort was saying, is also being linked in the Holo Cathedral bombing. So kailangan remember, there are more than 10 army battalions as well as marine battalions that are assigned here in Sulu, and definitely some of these troops have to pick up where the 5th Scout Ranger Battalion had initiated the operation in order to continue on pounding on these layers of the suspected bandits in order to able to capture them and neutralize these notorious ASG leaders, Mike.
Of course, the offensives come in the wake of the Holo bombings. Now tell me about the dead and wounded soldiers. Can you provide details on the military protocol in handling their cases?
As we all know, the military normally will have to inform the families of these slain soldiers first before the names are published or are released to the media. As to the 5 wounded, we did ask Lieutenant Colonel Montfort if they need, what is their status, and if there's a need to transport them to Zamboanga City. Currently, they are still here at the Camp Teodolfo Bautista Station Hospital. We have yet to hear word from Lieutenant Colonel Montfort if any of these wounded soldiers are in critical condition and would require airlifting or transport to a much better hospital in Zamboanga City, Mai.
Yes, and we were showing sad images there of the wounded being transported. Our senior correspondent David Santos, they're reporting to us live from Holo, Sulu.